crazy watch world where watches are all over the place, I wanted to present 5 watches that are actually going up in value right now. So let's get right into it. So guys, before this video begins, please be sure to like the video, subscribe for more videos like this in the future. For this topic, of course, this is not investment advice. Please take it with a grain of salt. I'm just kind of giving you current market information, things that I see that are currently appreciating in value and that are actually becoming harder and harder to find. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first watch is actually a Patek Philippe Calatrava. This is a reference 5196G, but I'll extend this to kind of all the Patek Philippe Calatravas under $30,000. That includes the 5296, 5196, the kind of more kind of upsized models, I would say 37 millimeters or above. Especially full set examples have become extremely difficult to find for anything around $20,000. I mean, take this for example. I used to buy this 5196G a couple of years ago, even 12 months ago, for around 16,000. We'd sell them around, let's say, 18 to 20,000, depending again if it was full set and if it was a nice condition example. This one full set now I'm buying for around 21,000. They're selling for around 25,000. So that's just kind of like the difference in price over the last couple of years, just how much these have appreciated in value. It's incredible to see, but again, when you consider that a modern Patek Philippe Calatrava retails for around $40,000, if you're picking up what is essentially the same watch, and in my opinion, a better designed version of that watch, a 5196 being such a classic and beautiful design, but even take, for example, a 5296, which I actually prefer because of the thinness of it versus the 5227. This is just an incredible timepiece that is, again, half the price basically of what the current retail of a modern Patek Philippe Calatrava is. So these have steadily been rising in price, and I think they'll continue to do so because, again, that disparity between the retail and the secondary market, but also these designs are just phenomenal. I mean, the 5196 is probably the ultimate expression of what a Calatrava should be. I'm a big fan, of course. I'm on record and a big admirer of the 6196, which Patek Philippe just released in platinum, salmon dial. But again, the retail on that is over $50,000. I mean, that is not a cheap watch at all. When you consider that, again, this is more than half the price of that, this makes this look like a relative bargain, which is why these are ultimately climbing in value steadily, especially over the last couple of years. Next up with Patek Philippe is going to be a genre from Patek, and that is going to be especially calendar complications. I have in front of me, it's a 5270J. The 5270 reference, I think, has really been slept on over the last couple of years, but the market is starting to take a turn on these where the 5270J, even the 5270P with the salmon dial especially, has become an incredible seller for us. I mean, I truly can't keep them in stock. I took in 2 this week. I'm filming this on a Wednesday. I took in 1 on Monday, 1 on Tuesday. Both are already sold. I mean, this is a $180,000+ watch that both are selling pretty much instantly, never hitting our website, which is just an incredible result. This one here, 5270J, is actually around 140,000 if I'm not mistaken, or 150,000 actually is what we have this listed for. An incredible timepiece. Perpetual calendar chronograph, a watch that retails again for over 200,000. So it's a big discount from the retail. And for me, again, I'm on record talking about this. The 5270 line, I think, will become one of the most important references for Patek Philippe simply due to the fact that this is a company with over 180 years of history. And this is their first in-house perpetual calendar chronograph movement for their most iconic line of watches, without question. So for me, this is going to be an extremely desirable and valuable reference in the future when they ultimately stop producing it. Yes, there are a lot of different variations that I don't personally like, but that's not to say that the watch itself isn't phenomenal. I do feel that it is still very, very undervalued for what it is, especially when you compare it to the crazy prices now of a 5970 and a 3970. So just an amazing timepiece, but it's true really for pretty much all calendar complications, especially things like annual calendars from Patek Philippe, which again, we are selling very, very well. 5205s, 5396s. These are watches that represent an incredible value because again, they can be had for the most part under $35,000 or under $40,000, depending of course on the variation. But for a modern Patek Philippe complication, again, you look at the current catalog for Patek Philippe annual calendars, most of them will retail around $70,000+. So when you consider that the secondary market is selling these same models for half of that, they just seem like an incredible value. And a lot of collectors are gravitating towards that classical look and beautiful design. And of course, incredible complication from Patek Philippe. Third up is going to be a watch that I'm sure viewers are very familiar with. It's actually my favorite Lange model ever. It is the A. Lange Zeitwerk, the reference 140.029. just a classic 42 millimeter or 41.9 millimeter, I guess, white gold case, black dial, Zeitwerk. And this is also true about the rose gold with the silver dial. Both of these are going up in price like crazy. I remember selling this model to actually a customer of mine. Shout out to Ted if you're watching. I sold him this exact watch, full set, less than 12 months ago for under $50,000. I can't buy them now under $50,000 at all, let alone sell them for that price. So, I mean, it's just incredible how much these have been going up in price. This happens to be a full set example from 2015 that we're now asking $69,000 for, but right under $70,000 is pretty much the market of these. These have really been steadily rising from over $50,000 to now over $60,000. And I do feel that eventually they actually will hit $70,000. The main reason I think is because they stopped making this watch and now make the Zeitwerk date. But the Zeitwerk date is actually 44 millimeters, so it's 2 millimeters larger, making it really too difficult for most collectors actually to wear on their wrist. The proportions are okay for most wrists, but 44 millimeters is pushing it for a lot of people. And this feels just so much more comfortable. And I actually like just the simple black dial as opposed to the gray and the no date format of the Zeitwerk, the original Zeitwerk, as opposed to the newer one personally. That's just my personal opinion. This is a watch I absolutely love. If I could only own one Lange, this would be the one for me without question. And again, this is one that is really, really steadily rising in value. I think for a number of factors, I think it was undervalued previously, but I think because the newer Zeitwerk is much larger and much harder to wear for most wrists, this has ultimately become kind of more of a bargain, especially when you consider, again, the retail for a Zeitwerk date now is over $130,000. Just crazy to think about, but that's just the kind of modern retail market for Lange, which again, just crazy. I can't believe that a Zeitwerk is $130,000. I think these are still a bargain. They have a lot of room to still climb in terms of value. I still think these have a lot of room to grow. Again, my favorite Lange model, and I think the price is really, really great, even though it has risen a lot in the last couple of months. Next up is sports watches from Rolex in particular. I'm gonna hone in on the GMT-Master II, the reference 126710 BLNR. These have been going up again like crazy over the last couple of months, I think for a number of factors. Obviously, with the Pepsi being discontinued, those prices skyrocketed, making them really impossible to buy for a lot of collectors. And so people gravitated towards this as the next best option, especially as a Bruce Wayne on Jubilee now is $22,000, $23,000, where I actually think this is much nicer than a Bruce Wayne personally. I just like the blue-black color scheme of the Batman over the black and gray personally. The blue-black GMT I think is phenomenal. Obviously I own one, so I'm very, very biased, but at around $22,000 now for a brand new example, these have really been climbing in value over the last couple of years, simply due to the fact that, again, the Pepsi being discontinued and the price of the Bruce Wayne on Jubilee has pushed these up in price also. So yeah, crazy to think about. Maybe 6-12 months ago, these used to be $18,000 for a brand new example, and now they're $4,000 more for a brand new 2026 example. And even for a pre-owned one, I mean, you're really not finding these back rows for the most part sub 19,500, even for an older year example. That's just the market that we're in currently, and these have definitely been increasing in value steadily over the last couple of months. Again, due to the Pepsi mainly, and of course because the Bruce Wayne is trading so high as well. But I think this is really a great option if you're looking for something that is a go anywhere, do anything kind of watch, and something that really goes with everything. I mean, blue, black, gray, you really can't go wrong, either the Bruce Wayne or the Batgirl, but this for me is always going to be my preference. Okay, and last but certainly not least is going to be, again, another genre of watches, and that is going to be especially gold Royal Oaks. Over the last couple of months, have really been increasing in value. This happens to be a 26320 OR. It's an AP Royal Oak chronograph in rose gold with a kind of silver dial, tapisserie dial, of course, that is famous for the Royal Oak. A beautiful timepiece, not my personal style at all. On the leather strap though, I do think it kind of dresses it up. And again, rose gold Royal Oaks have really, really been increasing in value, especially as gold prices have really started to shoot up in value and have kind of stabilized at this point where, you know, things are really steady at these new, much higher price points than they used to be. And of course, as a result of these higher price points, brands have really been increasing their retail prices. Rolex, for example, Patek AP also has increased the price of gold watches. So these have made kind of gold AP watches, and gold watches, to be fair, in general on the secondary market, really an undervalued proposition. So over the last 6 to 12 months, gold watches in general have really started to rise. But I would say that the Royal Oak also was a design that was kind of getting oversold on the secondary market to the point where these were kind of becoming relative bargains, especially a model like this, which is now, you know, roughly 10 years old. I think that there's still a lot of room for these to grow, considering, you know, a modern retail for something like this is around 75, 77,000, and this is selling for 48,000. So basically 30,000 under the modern retail for kind of a like for like Royal Oak chronograph. However, I do think that the modern designs are a little bit better. I think this older kind of style format of the dial itself is not as nice. And so that does lend to the fact that they will continue to sell under what the modern ones sell for. But again, when you consider 70,000 versus 48, it's a big difference in price. Does the design really warrant it? I mean, that's really up to the buyer. So guys, these are 5 watches that I see that are actually increasing in value. What other trends are you guys seeing in terms of prices on the secondary market today? I'd love to get your feedback down in the comments below. Of course, if you enjoyed this video or any of these videos, please be sure to subscribe and of course, like the video for more videos like this in the future. And if you have any suggestions, please leave them down in the comments below. As always, my name is Marco for Bernese Jewelry. Thank you so much for watching.